revolution, and they wouldn't be troubled by the press and bloggers.
Well, not that we consider any of you folks to be bloggers.
No, certainly not. But none of you are from the press, are you? What is that? What is that?
Back there, my feet. Now, 3 years ago, they set out for the Outer Banks to test their first flight.
Oh, Kitty Hawk in the summer is like the Sahara, or at least what I imagine the Sahara to be like. So I don't think there are too many 5-blanket cold nights in the Sahara like we experienced at Kitty Hawk. Not to mention all the black flies, the mosquitoes, and they ate right through our underwear. Lumps swelled all over our bodies. It was misery.
Yes, it was miserable, but we were on a grand adventure. Now, the few locals that we got to know and the workers from the U.S. Life-Saving Service Station were welcoming and very, very helpful.
Our glider tests that year confirmed our basic ideas and taught us a great deal. A fun thing that Wilbur learned the hard way is to keep his mouth shut when landing so as not to end up with a mouthful of sand.
Oh, but that incredible feeling of gliding through the air made that all worthwhile.
2 years ago, they hired Charlie Taylor to help with the business in the shop since they were so busy with their experiments. Now, I can assure you that I had no hand in hiring him. I can admit he's a good mechanic, but I didn't appreciate his smelly cigars. He didn't appreciate me dropping by to keep an eye on everything.
Will, do you think now would be a good time to tell Kate that we've taken up cigar smoking in the past?
Certainly, shall we have?
Even joke about that. They returned that year to test their second flight.
And we solved some problems, but we left that somewhere thoroughly confused because things didn't work out the way we had predicted. Back then, we doubted if we would ever resume our experiments.
I made the prediction that man would fly one day, but not within 1,000 years.
They never gave up, though.
Yes, well, that's thanks to launch part of your unwavering encouragement. I mean, even when we doubted ourselves, you never stopped believing in us.
No, and I never will.
As we investigated our failures further, we discovered that the calculations that men have been using for years to determine lift, they were incorrect. We worked very hard to establish correct numbers.
And we took nothing lightly since we'll be staking our lives on our findings. Now, we found the answers that we were looking for with our wind tunnel. The wind tunnel provided us with the most efficient wing shape. We were ready to attempt to fly again.
They returned in 1902 to make man tests on their third glider, and they flew it over 250 times.
We were in the air from dawn till dusk, and we achieved all of our goals. We had built a fully controllable glider that was without a doubt the best glider that had ever been built. So now it was time to build a powered airplane, one that could take off on level ground at a dead stop.
So when we returned to Dayton, we wrote to several new automobile manufacturers asking them to build an engine to our specifications. But none of them were interested.
So with the help of Charlie Taylor, they built it themselves.
That's right. In just 6 weeks, we had a 12 horsepower, 200-pound engine built and tested for power. Oh, and we also decided to use 2 wooden propellers, which would spin in opposite directions by means of bicycle chains.
Now these propellers were very efficient. It was really a major breakthrough for them.
We left Dayton on September 25th and arrived at our camp at the Kill Devil Hills in Kitty Hawk a few days later. The 1903 season was upon
Now
us.
this is what I've been waiting for. To hear about your fourth flight.
Well, as you know, now the first couple of months were plagued with problems, due to weather, equipment problems, and then waiting on new parts. But by Monday, December 14th, we were ready to attempt the unknown.
For the sake of fairness, we decided to flip a coin to see who would fly first. Wilbur won the coin
Is
toss.
that it though? No intense bartering? You two are conveniently leaving you?
Oh, no, not us, we swear. Now I got in a position. Orville ran alongside the launch rail, and the machine took off, climbed about 15 feet into the air, and then stalled and crashed back into the sand in just 3.5 seconds.
We spent the next 2 days repairing the machine so we could get her to fly again.
And writing me to say that there is now no question of final success. Weren't you ever scared or unsure?
Well, a bit of fear perhaps, but mostly fear excitement. No, we were prepared to feel unsure.
When we woke the morning of December 17th, there was a cold 24-mile-per-hour wind blowing, and there were patches of ice on the ground. And now that I think about it, I can't believe we attempted to fly a new and untried machine in those conditions.
Well, there's no stopping us. The weather was getting out. We were running out of time. We knew it was time to fly or go home.
But now it was my turn. I shook Wilbur's hand before I climbed into place.
I know, I almost didn't let go of your hand. Well, for a split second, I thought, what if we never see each other again?
You weren't so lucky. I'm here to tell the tale. Now, once I climbed into place, I checked the wing warping, I checked the rudder, and then the engine was started.
Yes, and I had the men at the life-saving station try to laugh and holler and try to cheer up Orville. You see, I didn't want them to get any indication that we were at all nervous.
To tell you the truth, my heart was beating so fast I didn't notice anybody looking nervous. At about 10:35, I shifted the lever to the left and I went down the rail into winds up to 27 miles. I lifted and I actually flew for 120 feet before landing safely back in the
Yes,
sand.
and I had one of the men, John Daniels, stand behind the tripod ready to snap the shutter on our camera. Well, folks, he thinks he caught the machine when it was in mid-air, but we won't know for sure until we develop the negative back in our shed.
Well, I didn't give it much time to take the photograph. I was only in the air for about 12 seconds. It was the first time in the history of the world that a machine carrying a man had lifted itself by its own power into the air in full flight. had sailed forward without reduction of speed and landed at a point as high as that from which it had started. All of our dreams and efforts over the past 4 years came true in 12 seconds. Now we knew we were on the right track. We knew that this machine could
I
fly.
have goosebumps. I really do. You know, I can't wait for the day when I can see you flying with my very own
Well, maybe
eyes.
one day we'll get you up there as well, huh?
Well, I'll hold you to that. You can be sure that's a chance I would never miss. Now, it hardly seems real, does it? Your flight lasted an amazing 12 seconds. You know, those 12 seconds are certainly eternal now. Now, it often only takes 1 second to change lives, destinies, the course of history. Now, they had 12 of those seconds. Now, can you imagine what it must feel like to accomplish something that was deemed impossible and sustain it for 12 seconds? Now, what was going through their minds during those 12 seconds, those 12 wondrous seconds?
Lifting, it's really happening. Breathe, control the rudder, breathe.
Just like
Too much on one
cycling.
side, keep the balance, pushing forward. Come
Fast now,
up,
ride the
up.
wind.
I'm flying, it's working.
Really flying.
I'm
You're
flying,
flying
it's like a dream.
Leave balance or
Coming
fly,
down,
fly.
hang on. We did it!
12 seconds indeed. Did you go up next, Will?
Yes, and you know, it was almost exactly like the first one. Another 12 seconds in the air. But this time I went a bit farther, 175 feet.
I made the third flight around 11:40. I was in the air for 15 seconds and I went 200 feet. But Will's fourth and final flight was the true grand finale.
Well, I tried to get at noon. This time I had much better control of the machine. I flew 852 feet in 59 seconds. It was incredible, Pete.
I humbly admit it was quite impressive.
I think you kind of did that.
Wait, 59 seconds. I thought your telegram said 57.
Well, Western Union makes mistakes too,
Yeah.
just like the press
Oh, that's right.
can.
We haven't forgotten about our friend the press. Oh, you speak of mistakes, though.
Now we come to the reason why we didn't have more than 4 flights on December 17th. You see, after Will had landed, all the men were standing around, animatedly discussing his flight. And out of nowhere, a huge gust of wind came, struck the machine, and flipped it over.
No one was hurt, I hope.
John Daniels was badly bruised trying to hold the machine down, but no broken bones. In fact, he now has the distinction of being the world's first survivor of an airplane crash.
We're having what's left of the machine shipped back here.
Yes, we want to get back in the saddle very soon. I want to start building a new engine right away.
Well, we decided to sit close to home for a while. Felt excited. Buffalo Prairie is the next field. It's only 8 miles east, and it's relatively isolated.
Well, I'm thrilled with your accomplishments, and I'm thrilled with your father too. Shall we go in?
Oh, by all means. Will you mind hearing our stories again?
No, not at all. In fact, I hope you see pride in Father's eyes.
Well, if it's as strong as that is reflected in your eyes, we're very fortunate men indeed.
We're proud of you too, sis. We really appreciate all of your encouragement, keeping an eye on our shop. You know, if it wasn't for you, I don't think we'd be where we are today.
Well, something tells me you would, but I appreciate the sentiment. Welcome home, brothers.
Let's try to back you out, honey.